We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fantasy. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here, and welcome back to Changeling. We're here trying to bay off these fucking ferals and trying to keep our brain in check because everything is going to shit. Can you please stop doing that? I don't know how I'm doing it, but I really did need to stop. Magic was apparently nowhere near as fun as it looked. Spencer, quick, let's pull some of these pallets in front of the door before he gets back. Yeah, because that'll help. Do it. He staggered over to help with that while I sat in the dirt and clutched my head, trying to convince my eyeballs not to explode. Spencer, do you have your phone? Yes. Call Allie and tell her where we are. Allie? Yeah, so if that thing rips us apart, at least someone will know where to find our bodies. He didn't answer and I didn't know if he was doing it. I shut my eyes, trying to take deep breaths and focus. Grant's gun was useless, and we couldn't exactly go hand in hand with those things. This magic thing I was doing, whatever it was, it could at least keep the feral away. I mean, if I could just figure out how to aim it properly and keep it from making me feel horrible. I'd have to contemplate why I could even use magic and what this meant for the whole changeling thing. Later, much later. For now, surviving. I just had to focus somewhere inside me was that Somewhere inside me was that little gold spark. I just had to make it listen and do what I wanted. I took a long, slow breath, trying to block out Spencer and Grant shouting. Hey, look, it's a little fire. There it was. It was small now, but I knew if I fanned it just a little, it would grow too fast and burn me up with it. I had to be careful, but I also had to do something fast. Those things were coming back, and I had to live. If only because I really wanted to be able to smack Spencer for all this. There was a sound of wood splintering, shouts. Spencer and Grant scrambling back to where I was. Gunfire. Okay, yeah, there's more than one. Hi. I opened my eyes, held a hand out, and... No! This time it wasn't quite as painful as before, maybe because it was intentional. The blast of air and heat flung the creatures back, and the air in front of me shimmered slightly, as if there was some kind of wall between us, a barrier, or a shield. As soon as I thought that, whatever it seemed to strengthen, almost as if the mental image itself was feeling the magic. What are you doing? Shut up if you want me to keep doing it. I need to focus. There's more than one of those things out there. I already know that. Ugh, I was losing the image and I could feel the barrier weakening. No! I shut my eyes trying to focus again. Picture a shield or a barrier that was protecting us. That's right. I had to protect everyone. Protect Spencer, that stupid idiot. The ferals picked themselves up and flung themselves at us. I had to fight another part to keep from screaming and flinching away. They hit the barrier, but it almost felt like they were hitting me. I could feel each blow vibrate through my entire body. I really didn't think I'd be able to keep this up for long. I mean, I was some kind of hero. I shouldn't even be out here. I was just some stupid girl who really just wanted to go home. Then gold lines streaked through the air in front of me. I tried to keep the barrier up, but the shatter under those ferals, it felt like my entire body broke at the same time. My legs wobbled and I hit the ground when the feral screamed and launched itself at me. I figured that was it for me. Barrier! Oh shit, Ellie! Another shield shimmered in life in front of me and the feral hit it instead of me. Allie! I stared in disbelief. Allie was there, standing in the door of the building, looking angry and relieved. Thank God they made it. The ferals didn't stand a chance against her. Holy shit, they must have been nearby though to be this quick in response. And I admit I felt a little inadequate as I watched her fling them effortlessly aside. As she ran to me, several other people barreled inside the building, namely Elliot and Mark. The ferals tried to flee back outside through the windows, but Elliot and Mark were in a pretty hot pursuit. I didn't think they'd get away this time. And Chico, are you okay? She crushed me into a hug so my answer was muffled against her shoulder. I hope you two know how completely and utterly screwed you are. I pulled away slightly, glancing back at Spencer and Grant. They both looked both terrified and surprised by this development. From outside there were shouts, screams, and a crash that sounded distinctly like Grant's car was right in the middle of that battle, and not faring well. Do you need to go help? There's no way in hell I'm throwing myself into that fight. I think Elliot and Mark will be fine. Danny and Vilos are out there too. 3 ferals won't be much of a match for that. Oh, so there's 3? There was another one lurking outside. Whew, well, you sure you're okay? I feel like I'm about to puke. Maybe I should get out of the splash zone. Don't worry, I'm going to aim for Grant. What exactly is going on here? Mind explaining? I glance up at him, vision still a little blurry. That moron. Allie, he's recording. Phone. Allie just flicked her hand that way. His phone flipped out of his hand and went sailing. Hey! It smacked into the wall and a little puff of smoke went up as it kind of exploded a bit. That isn't very polite. His other camera, the one he's been using earlier, yeah, no idea where that one was. In all the fuss, I was assuming it had been hurled off to the side somewhere. We'd have to check that one too. I struggled to my feet. I need to talk to Brenna. We have to find her. Well, calm down. What you need is rest. Allie, this is important. Brenna already told us what happened, you know, sort of. As much as Faye ever tell anyone anything. That potion she threw on you was mostly foxglove and some other things. She wouldn't tell us the exact ingredients, just that it can be used to reverse the Changeling contract. Changeling contract? Allie glared at him. I'm so mad at you, so shut up. Whoa, she was talking to Spencer like that? She really must be ticked. Look, Brenna was pretty damn reluctant to divulge any secrets, even with Elliot badgering her. I don't know exactly what happened to you or what you've worked out yourself, but what we pieced together is that at some point you apparently initiated some kind of contract with the Fae, a Changeling contract. Yeah, I think Spencer and I worked out when that was, maybe. Brenna said something about them taking your body but leaving your soul here as camouflage for the Changeling. Basically, she looked like you, grow up as you. You'd never know she was there, though. My soul. All this time you've been stuck in some fairy's body, while yours was presumably off in fairy, waiting for them to give your soul back to it. In the meantime, the fairy was using your, well, personality, for lack of a better word, as a disguise to masquerade as a human. She was there in that body with you all this time, mostly dormant, from what I gathered. Well, that's creepy. Then the sleepwalking. Probably her waking up and trying to get you back to fairy while the you side of you was sleeping. Rude, also confusing. Yeah, wait, so she was telling the truth. You really are Michiko? No shit! Spencer looked away awkwardly. I mean, I thought it was wrong. Whatever you thought, it was wrong, okay? You're a complete idiot and I am so angry at you right now. I could scream. Allie, wait, look, it wasn't his fault, totally. I shot Grant at Claire. Not when he has some idiot whispering in his ear, convincing him to do all this, saying of which was getting your proof worth nearly getting us all killed. You can get angry all you like. I was just trying to uncover some lies because someone important to me was killed, and I still don't have answers about that. So you're going to just drag everyone else into it. For what? Revenge? You didn't have to get Spencer involved. I needed a way in. Every other attempt was thwarted. I needed someone who was already involved. Like you. Like your brother. Sorry to interrupt. Looks like we're all done out here. I want to know what's going on. What were those things? I shot Elliot a glance. He looked a bit disheveled, to say the least, but he was in one piece, and we were lucky we were too. I grabbed Grant's arm. I'm not done talking to you yet. You should have kept Spencer out of this. You dragged me out here, tied me up. Had Spencer half convinced he needed to set me on fire or something. Set you on fire? Spencer was staring hard at the ground, but Grant didn't even budge. But what I'm really angry about is that you didn't even care that you put him in danger for your own selfish purposes. My brother is dead. Well, shit. Mine is still alive, you jerk. I hit him as hard as I could as I shouted that. Elliot was at my side in a minute, pulling me back. Michiko, it's okay. It's over now. It's not. Elliot whirled around, landing a single punch in the center of Grant's face. He went down hard, blood dribbling from his slightly crunched nose. Oh shit, ow. Perhaps you could save beating him up until later. After all, he's still bleeding from earlier, it would seem. Hi, Vilus. I wonder how long he'd been standing there. He smiled pleasantly at Grant. And besides, the agency also has some questions for you, Mr. Mitchell, though I wouldn't worry. We'll be certain to get you healed up during your interrogation. I'm personally looking forward to hearing how any teacher thought it was fine to kidnap one of his students, regardless what her history may be. Oh dear. He looked sort of pissed, a lot pissed, but that smile was definitely terrifying either way. That said, we should leave now. The window for treating the vampire infection is very small, so if any of the infectious agent was injected into that bite wound, we have a very limited amount of time to stop it before you become a vampire yourself. Graham visibly paled at that, or maybe it was just a blood loss from the broken nose. I totally forgot he could turn vampire. Mark and Danny pulled him to his feet, practically dragging him out of the building with Vilos right behind them. He went rather quietly. Either he didn't want the rest of his face broken, or the thought of becoming a vampire had calmed him down. What happens to me? I'm certain the agency will want to talk to you as well, but it looks like Grant is their focus, so you just have to deal with me. I almost feel sorry for him when she said that. Almost. Come on, we need to get the two of you home probably. We'll need to wait to hear from the others what the plan is. Based on what Brenna told us, it seems like your sleepwalking won't be an issue now. So we'll take it a step at a time from here on out. She shot Elliot a glance, then grabbed Spencer. You're coming with me for now. We're going to have a little talk outside. Now. He went quietly, leaving Elliot and me in the building alone. I let out a long, shuddering breath. Well, that happened. Elliot pulled me into him in a tight hug. I'm so glad you're okay. If something happened to you, I'm so sorry. I feel like this is all my... Don't Please don't. I pulled away, looking up at him sadly. There's enough flame to go around without everyone trying to grab their portion. It's over. At least this part of it. I just want to move on. Thank God. Okay, we still got time. I smiled slightly, flicking his hair out of his eyes. He definitely had some scratches and bruises going on. Looks like that was some fight out there. The ferals didn't really go down quietly, but it wasn't too bad. I'm not great in a fight, but, well, I guess I did okay. It's kind of too bad you didn't get to see me looking cool out there. I think I definitely got to see you looking pretty cool, as usual. I reached up and pulled him down so I could plant a careful kiss on his cheek. He went bright red. Thank you, Elliot, for everything. Really. Actually, I was kind of wondering something. What's that? Well, that spider was you, right? Right? Please tell me I didn't have a conversation with a random spider. He just laughed at that. Let's go. I think it's time to get you home. Wait, can you please answer my question? Because I could have sworn he said he turned into a bunch of spiders, not just one spider. Elliot walked me out to where the others were waiting. Allie was still yelling at Spencer and everyone was getting ready to head out. I tried to not look at the dark smudges of goop. I was pretty sure used to be the pharaohs. They were horrible monsters, but they'd also been human once, and all the people they killed. It felt like too mundane an end for the tragedy this all was. That's what I was thinking about as we walked to where the others were parked, which is much further away than Grant. With this, I just hoped it was all finally over. Breaking out, moving on. I'm assuming this is the last chapter? November 2nd. Yeah, we just flew away from Halloween. Spencer kind of lucked out. Since Sunday was Samhain, the agency was too busy to deal with him. Between handling Grant, wrapping up the Pharaoh case, and dealing with overflow, Spencer was on the low priority list. It meant that I was really the only one who he had to contend with. Even Allie couldn't do much more than stop by for a few minutes. But in the end, Spencer had seen and heard enough to be compliant. He let me explain things, we compared notes. And ultimately, though he was still a little suspicious, things seemed better. Based on what Allie told us while we were in that building, we'd kind of pieced together the story as best as we could. We also spent much of the day hunting for clues about what we had finally remembered about Spencer's disappearance. Mom had a bit of a bad habit of keeping clippings from my disappearances, and Spencer vanished too. We definitely knew there would be some proof somewhere. We'd finally found it in an old scrapbook, hidden. He'd been missing for 3 days. I had slipped out to go find him and we'd shown back up together. Both of us claiming, you guessed it, no memory. Allie had touched base with us only briefly and confirmed a few things about that. She remembered the incident, but because we didn't, although adults told her to never mention it, everyone assumed it was a trauma or something. Her theory was now that Spencer and I had our memories sealed by the Fae. Then they did the little soul switch thingy. That was a little weird, but based on what Brenna had said and what I had uncovered about changelings in my research, my theory was that fairies had used the soul transfer strategy to try to conceal their actions, because there were definitely stories of changelings being discovered, and that never ended well for them. It always involved things like the concerned family members throwing them in the fireplace or on hot coals or drowning them. It's possible they started taking only the child's body to fairy and leaving their soul in the real world to act as some kind of disguise, at least long enough for them to reach adulthood. I guess people didn't look as hard for an adult that wandered off as they would for an infant or a young child that vanished. What they wanted with me and Spencer in the first place, still a mystery. Books said the fairies used human babies for anything from servants to breeding stock. Given that, from what Allie said, fairies had weak life energy. That last one might be more accurate. Regardless, Brenna had used that potion to undo the contract for me, apparently because she felt she owed Elliot for helping her, and since he liked me, that kind of gave her the perfect way to pay him back. We assumed, because Brenna had disappeared and we couldn't exactly ask her directly. Even if we could, I wasn't sure we'd get any more answers from her. Regardless, it seemed like the situation was fixed. More or less. We had a pretty stern warning to not look too deeply into it. Fairies didn't like anyone knowing their secrets, and Spencer and I already knew a lot. So even though we didn't have all the answers, we also didn't want to attract more attention, that was certain. What we did know is that I was not quite left unchanged by what had happened. Apparently the reason I could use magic was because my body had been lovingly mutated by fairy magic during all those years sitting in fairy, waiting for my soul. It was apparently a known side effect of humans hanging out there. I wasn't really fully human anymore. I wasn't fully fae either. I was somewhere in between, and I wasn't totally sure what that meant just yet. It was just one of my many unanswered questions, and there were some things I wasn't sure would ever really know the answer to. I sighed softly and let my stupid hair go. I can't get used to the ears though. The hair I could at least cut. Those pointy ears, those were just weird. Time to go! Ugh. And after all that, we had school. School! We fought evil vampires over the weekend. I found out that I was a mutant fairy hybrid thingy. And we had school. Life just didn't stop. I thundered down the stairs, pulling on my jacket as we went. Got a text from Mom. She says Grandpa's doing a bit better. And yeah, that happened. Mom and Dad left for a few days because Grandpa had ended up back in the hospital and they wanted to stay closer to him. It did clear the house out and let us deal with things without worrying about them. But I was worried about him. Glad to hear that. Spencer stopped on the front porch, staring out at the gray rain. What happens to Grant now? Not present, unfortunately. Apparently tossing him in jail for kidnapping a student in order to test her for evidence of changelings would be a pain. I'm not sure what they're actually doing with him. I'm not sure they've made a decision. I feel bad for him. Don't! He's a creep! I never told you his story, did I? No, you did not, and we're gonna find out in the next episode. Alright, well then, this is where we're gonna end today's episode off. No birthday celebration in this episode, it's fine. I just really want to get to the point where we confess Elliot all of our love, so then he can give us smoochies, because he's been really wanting to do that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Touch it,